Hey everyone, me Kevin here. Data from Cambridge Bitcoin Electricity Consumption Index, that's a mouthful, shows that the United States is now the #1 location for Bitcoin miners. Back in May, Chinese financial officials announced their plan to crack down on financial institutions offering any crypto-related services, of course, and this is despite the fact that 1 year ago today, mainland China was responsible for 67% of all Bitcoin mining, which is insane. But as of July of this year, the United States is the leader with over 35.4% of all Bitcoin mining happening in the United States. Your next runner-up is not Borat, but it might be his home country, Kazakhstan at 18.1%, Russia at 11.2%, and Canada at 9.6%. Kazakhstan's president has also signed a new law now taxing cryptocurrency miners in the country slightly on a per kilowatt hour basis, which is actually seen as also bullish because it's kind of a way of saying, hey, like, we're good. Keep mining, we like it, but we're gonna take a little bit of revenue. And so this new milestone has raised the question of, hey, should we consider investing in cryptocurrency miners? And I want to give a little bit of an overview of some of the cryptocurrency related companies, especially since we now have $7 trillion of stock or equity companies, or just equity in general in our markets, exposed to cryptocurrency. This includes Visa, MasterCard, JP Morgan, Tesla, MicroStrategy, Hut 8, Bitfarms, Marathon Digital, Riot Blockchain, you name it. A lot of companies are now exposed to cryptocurrency. This is a very, very huge market. The cryptocurrency market's around $2 trillion in total, $7 trillion though of equity exposed to cryptocurrency, even consider Square as an example. And so I thought it was worth comparing some of the cryptocurrency miners and trying to understand what some of the differences are of the miners. And so what I wanted to do is compare how much Bitcoin a lot of these miners actually hodl, how much their market cap is, and then we'll kind of compare those. And I'll explain why. And then we'll also kind of compare some of the hash rates of these companies, which would just show us how potentially powerful they are at expanding their operations and how efficient they are. And yeah, we'll do a quick little comparison. So first, it's worth noting that if you like my perspective, seriously, consider checking out the programs on Building Your Wealth link down below. You get lifetime access to them. I add lectures all the time. You get access to me in daily live streams when the market is open. That part for a limited time, but the lectures for life, you get access to those. There's no upsell. When I add lectures, they're added totally for free. I think you'd really enjoy being a part of, especially Stocks and Psychology of Money group based on the video you're watching here. But also, if you're not familiar with real estate investing, consider getting all of the knowledge I have in a download format on real estate investing, property management, rental renovation, sales, making YouTube videos, you name it. All my tricks in the programs linked down below. Use that coupon code expiring on October 29th. All right, folks, let's now compare some of these companies. So I like to know how much Bitcoin some of these companies are hodling. Then, once I know how much they're hodling, I can calculate a market value for that Bitcoin and then compare it to how much the stock market is valuing them for. So let me give you an example. This right here that I'm pulling up on screen is Hut 8 Mining. You could see that they hold 4,724 Bitcoin as of September 30th. That's worth about, at the time when I wrote this down, Bitcoin's gone up a little bit, but at the time I wrote this down, that was worth around $270 million in United States dollars, since Hut 8 is a Canadian company. I've also interviewed their CEO twice. You can go to YouTube and just type in Meet Kevin Hut 8, and you'll find those interviews. But anyway, they're selling for a market cap of 1.74 billion USD. That is about 6.4x their Bitcoin value. So if you're just trying to buy the miners because of Bitcoin, keep in mind that most of your money is actually going towards the company itself and not Bitcoin value. So let me make that a little clear. If you take 270 million divided by 1.74, the market cap, or 1740, this is the better calculation, that means only about 15.5% of the money you put into Hut 8 stock is actually going to owning some share of Bitcoin. The other about 85% is going to owning a company that arranges miners and computers. Now, one thing I thought was interesting when I was going through the investor relations reports and the filings for HUD 8, there was not a lot of talk about research and development, or there were not a lot of, I couldn't find any expenses related to research and development. So in my opinion, you're not really paying for intellectual property, you're not really paying for research and development, you're basically just paying for which company is able to string together the nicest and potentially most efficient array of miners that are going to have the most long-term value. Because the issue is mining machines depreciate over time. They become less functional and less valuable. So if 85% of your money is going to miner, like the mining equipment, you'd want to make sure that mining equipment was really, really good. So I can't really recommend a mining company as an indirect way to own Bitcoin. Even though this stock tends to move with Bitcoin a lot, you're really paying a lot for, 85% of your money is really going to the mining devices themselves. Per the NASDAQ, they have a hash rate of 1.37 exahashes per second. This is as of September 15th. They have a target of about 2.5 to 3 by year end and 6 by mid-2022. This is just a way that they want to grow their business in terms of how much they're capable of mining. The greater the hash rate for the company, the more potentially that they could mine and contribute to the global hash rates of Bitcoin. So, and take a share of. HUD 8, it's worth noting, takes about 1% of the global mining of Bitcoin. So it gives you a little bit of a scale, just 1% in HUD 8. And they're worth $1.74 billion. Then you've got Bitfarms. Bitfarms has about 2,300 Bitcoin as of October 1st, 131.3 million USD dollar equivalent at the time I wrote this down. That brings them to a market cap of about 6.7 times BTC value, market cap of about $880 million, which is about a multiple of 6.7 times Bitcoin's value. This shows you that they're actually pretty similarly valued to HUD 8, which I thought was interesting. They are sitting at, right now, about 1.53 exahashes, or I should say, exahash per second. There we go. It's in this bizarre word. That is a multiple of terahashes, which is oftentimes what we hear when we talk about Bitcoin mining. Then we've got Marathon Digital. They've got quite a bit. They've got 7,035 Bitcoin. Now, it's worth noting that Marathon Digital, it seems to be more of, I hate to say it, but like a patent troll than a Bitcoin miner. And I know that sounds kind of insulting, but Marathon Digital makes a lot of money winning settlements with companies by suing them for potential patent violations. So it kind of makes sense that they're selling for a greater multiple of Bitcoin value to market cap. They've got about 401 million worth of Bitcoin. The market cap sitting about 4.26 billion. And now that's why they have this elevated multiple of 10.6 in terms of Bitcoin value to market cap. They've got about 2.3 in the hash rate level. They're targeting a huge expansion here. They think they can get to 13.3 by mid next year. Then you get to Riot Blockchain. They hold 3,534 Bitcoin as of September 30th. They trade for about 12.4 times Bitcoin value. So kind of surprising that they have this big spread and don't have the other big sources of revenue like potentially Marathon Digital does. There might be something particularly that I might be missing here, though what we're looking at here is that Riot is really just the most expensive just based on Bitcoin holdings, and they've got a substantially lower hash and lower hash target than companies like Marathon, which are selling for a rich multiple as well, but have other sources of revenue. Then, folks, you get to the opposite end of the spectrum, and this is a company like MicroStrategy, which hodls 108,992 Bitcoin, the most out of all of these. That's worth $9.2 billion. Its market cap is $7.06 billion, and it's really only trading for 1.1 times its Bitcoin value. And quite frankly, that's because the company doesn't have much actual value beyond its Bitcoin holding. It's not mining. It's not doing anything special. The company was kind of floundering and failing. And investing into Bitcoin or going all into Bitcoin was a Hail Mary that really worked out for Michael Saylor. And if you really want to own Bitcoin through a stock, I hate to say it, but MicroStrategy is probably the cheapest way to expose yourself to cryptocurrency via a stock than any of the mining companies, just because you're paying a massive amount of money at the other mining companies for other aspects of their businesses, like mining or patent trolling, whatever. Despite all of this, what's really weird, and this is just the oddity of the stock market, is take a look at this. When you look at companies like Hut 8 Mining on a day like today, where Bitcoin is rocketing, we're over 60,000 now. Hut 8 Mining is up 13.7%. You've got Marathon Digital up 6.7%. You've got Hive up 4.5%. A lot here, Riot Blockchain 3.75%. A lot of these mining companies and crypto-related companies doing very, very well when Bitcoin moves fast. Now, interestingly though, the one with the lowest spread or multiple, I should say, MicroStrategy, is only up 2.93%. So you have this kind of like weirdness of how the miners seem to grow more when Bitcoin moves more rapidly, despite the fact that you're getting less Bitcoin and you're getting more mining technology and hope for future Bitcoin in those. So it's worth mentioning that you're probably going to have more extreme swings to both the upside and the downside in some of those higher multiple miners, especially the smaller cap ones like Hut 8, which is a small cap company. But that is pretty incredible. You're pretty close to par at MicroStrategy. So again, if you want to hold a particular stock that exposes you to cryptocurrency, MicroStrategy's the one, because they're really not being valued for doing anything other than holding Bitcoin. Well, folks, there you have it. If you found this helpful, check out the program's link down below on Building Your Wealth. Use that coupon code DiamondHands before it expires. And folks, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.